This video briefly explains how to cite legislation. Before citing the source, you will need to identify it. You will then know where in the McGill guide to look for the proper citation format. Are we looking at legislation, jurisprudence, or a secondary source? In this video, we will be citing legislation, so we will need to determine if it is a statute or a regulation, its jurisdiction, and whether it is revised or annual legislation. A common mistake when looking at a regulation is to see the name of the enabling statute and identify the regulation as a statute. However, upon closer inspection, we see a reference to a regulation. In this case, the Pedestrian Crossover Signs Regulation is enacted under the Highway Traffic Act, so we need to be careful to cite this as a regulation, not a statute. You may also be able to identify a source if you spot one of these abbreviations. I suggest memorizing these abbreviations to help you more effectively recognize and cite sources. Here's the example we will cite in this video. As our first step, we identify the source. The abbreviation RSO stands for Revised Statutes of Ontario. So we know that our source is a statute and not a regulation. We also know that it was enacted in the jurisdiction of Ontario and that it is a revised rather than annual statute. We then turn to the table of contents at the Legislation tab in the McGill guide. There is a section dealing with statutes, so we turn to page E23 to see if the General Forms section will help us. The closest example is the citation to the Criminal Code, also a revised statute. Note that a statute's citation includes at a minimum its title, volume, jurisdiction, year, and chapter number. The title is italicized. The word chapter is abbreviated to a lowercase c, which is not followed by a period. In these examples, there are no periods other than at the end of the citation. Note also that the Criminal Code's chapter number is C-46. We will come back to this in a moment. Because the General Forms section in McGill consists of typical examples of citation, it is a good place to start. However, you will also need to review special citation rules that apply to your source. The table of contents can serve as a checklist to determine if any special rules might apply. In our example, we note that there is no space between RS and O. Further, the alphanumeric chapter number should be kept as is in the citation, including any dash or period. Recall that the Criminal Code, a federal revised statute, is at chapter C-46. In our citation example, the Ontario Revised Statute is at chapter C-43. This dash and this period are part of the chapter numbers and should not be removed or changed. We now know the information we need to write the citation and its formatting requirements. We examine the source and identify the title, volume and jurisdiction, year, and chapter number from the heading. Following the Criminal Code example in the General Forms section and the special citation rules that apply, we then write the citation using this information. Remember that the order and formatting of the information gives important cues to your reader. When you follow the Uniform Citation Guidelines, the reader will be able to find and refer to your source if needed. In our example, the title is italicized, we include commas after the title and year. We kept the period that is part of the chapter number and added a period at the end of the citation. We also did not simply copy and paste the citation information in the source. This would not have complied with the McGill guide. For example, the source included periods after the letters R, S, O, and does not abbreviate chapter. So there we are, a complete citation to a statute.